seem to have some especially hard hitting going on from especially the secondary. What went into that? Well, did you feel like there was extra juice there, and what went into that?
I think what went into it was our guys were in better positions to be able to deliver contact like that. We talked a couple weeks ago about missed tackles and sort of why they were coming up. And, you look at the last two games, the middle errors have gone way down, so guys are in better positions to go make plays when those plays come to them. And so I thought that's kind of what you saw Saturday, just guys in better positions to be able to deliver blows like that. To our guys' credit, they did. They played tough and physical. We talked about making it a physical game. It's a Big Ten opponent, and those conference games are physical in nature, and I thought we did a good job of that on Saturday.
What do you credit that to, being in better positions? Is it scheme, or is it them just understanding things, or is it adjustments you guys are making?
I think it's a little bit of both. After the Maryland game, we talked about, sort of developing an identity on which direction we need to take as a staff and as a defense. So just built off of that performance, and then it carried over into Saturday. Just guys understanding conceptually what we're trying to get done, and then them getting themselves in the right checks on the field, and paying attention and preparation and practice throughout the week. Like I've been saying, these guys prepare the right way. That's never been an issue. And so I just think they'll continue to get better as the season goes on. The more reps they get, the more experience they gain. And so just sucks. We had 2 weeks in a row. We got a chance to end it on defense and didn't get it done. I got to be better, and then we got to execute better in those crunch time moments and come away with a victory. It's not good enough just to be close.
Ryan, what would you say that identity is, and is it philosophical or schematic or a mix of both?
I think a mix of both. We talk about being tough, smart and dependable, and I think that breeds into our defensive side of the ball. And those guys they've been bought in. It's just, and then from a schematic standpoint, just kind of what we're evolving to. I just think better suits our personnel, and they're having fun with it, and so and they're executing at a high level. So we're going to continue to move forward in that direction.
Yeah, the light seems to have switched on for Kirby Joseph in the back end there. What do you attribute that to, and what kind of boost does that give to your defense when you have a breakout player like that?
Yeah, he's a savvy guy. He's got really good ball skills. I think he played receiver here last year for a while. So he's naturally has those ball skills and tracking ability when the ball's in the air. He's physical in nature. He's not hesitant about pulling the trigger. He's really matured since the springtime, just in narrowing his focus on things that are important, and preparing the right way, practicing the right way, and then cutting it loose on game day. Obviously, he's got a ton of energy. Plays with a lot of emotion, and I'm glad he's on our team.
Coach Bielema mentioned after Saturday's game that you worked individually some with Kirby. Just what were those interactions like? What were you trying to get across? Maybe that he's picked up.
Like I said before, just his maturity has gone up. He's when we got here in the springtime, he's kind of all over the place. So that kind of bred into everything, whether it was academics or social life or on the football field. I think they all correlate, right? And so just really talk to him about focusing on the task at hand, whether it's in academics, being at academics, and then in the weight room, being in the weight room, at home, being at home, and then when you're in the building, be in the building. And he has really, to his credit, has really worked on that. And so you just kind of saw him evolve just as a young man throughout the course of the spring and in the fall camp, and his all of those areas were improving, and so it's no wonder that his play on the field was improving as well.
Felt like your two linebackers, Tariq Barnes and Kalen Tolson, both played pretty well yesterday in the absence of Jake, or on Saturday in the absence of Jake. What did you kind of see out of those two?
Yeah, I saw what I saw in practice. Those are two capable guys. Obviously, have the athletic talent to play well at those positions. We actually moved Tariq to a different inside spot, and then put Kalen as that will linebacker. And so, you know, for those guys to execute the way they did, was awesome to see. And it's added depth definitely to that position. And but it wasn't a surprise because you know, we saw it all week in practice. Coach Blue does a great job with those backers. Just getting them to understand exactly where they need to be in the run game and where their help is in the pass game, and you know, what type of drops they need to take depending on the coverage that's called. And they executed the game plan, and so that's all we ask those guys to do. That's all we ask everybody to do is just do their job and execute at a high level. And when a play is brought to your responsibility, that you go make it and you make it with an attitude. And I think those guys did that.
What went into the decision to kind of shuffle them around heading into last week?
Yeah, just where we thought they would best suit their skill sets and would best complement each other. And so I think that it paid off for sure.
A little bit different challenges this week with Charlotte. You know, team with two good running backs. What have you seen on film from their offense that's going to present some challenges for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they operate out of 11 and 12 personnel, get into multiple different formations that can create problems. You know, you see a lot of unbalance, you see a lot of X-off with motion. They do a lot of shifting and motions pre-snap. Quarterback operates and executes the offense at a high level. He gets the ball out quick on a lot of his RPO games. You know, they all complement each other. The receivers are long and got good ball skills. You know, every run action complements a play or a pass game off of it. You'll see a myriad of different run schemes, whether it's, you know, inside zone, split zone, counter, GT. You're going to see all of it. Fly sweep. You'll see screens off the run action. And so we got to have our eyes right and in the right spot. You know, the quarterback, like I said, he operates quickly, gets the ball out on time, knows where to go with it, depending on what kind of shell you present defensively. So we got to do a good job of pre-snap disguises and, like I said, having our eyes in the right spot and playing disciplined football.
Are you seeing day-to-day, game-to-game progression out of Johnny Newton that's exciting for you guys?
Yeah, and again, he's another guy that prepares the right and practices the right way. So, you know, what you guys see on game day is just a product of what he's done throughout the week, and he's gaining more confidence as he grows and matures, and you know, he plays 100 miles an hour, and his motor is exactly what you want up front. I'm really proud of the way he gets out of the stack when the ball is thrown. You know, that kind of tells you what kind of motor he has, and he's an emotional leader for us as well up front. So yeah, I'm pleased with what he's done thus far.
Ryan, as you guys get closer to this identity, is there a balance for you as a coach to say this scheme will work, but we have to execute better versus we've got to pivot and go in a different direction?
I think just you kind of also have to cater toward what you're going to see that week in terms of your preparation. You know, and you know, you can't sit in one scheme for too long. You know, offenses are too good nowadays. So you gotta be able to present them with a great deal of things that they have to prepare for as well, right? Like just talked about how many things we got to prepare for Charlotte. So we got to give them things that they have to prepare for too. So you know, that balancing act on what you spend the most time on during the week is also predicated on what you're going to see from an offense, so that you have answers, right? And so, you know, I think it's important for us to remain multiple. But at the same time, not at the expense of putting our guys in positions that aren't their best strong suit and don't accentuate their strengths.
What is the balance between not allowing a team to score a touchdown all day and then at the end of the game allowing them to score one? The last couple of games have come down to that last possession. How do you balance that as a coach, and what do you tell your guys in that situation when you've done well the whole day and then at the end it doesn't work?
Yeah, it's you know, like Tony said earlier, it sucks. You know what I mean? You play you know, that's why you play, why you compete is to go win it. And like I said, I feel like, you know, the last 2 weeks we had a chance to do that. And, you know, went into, you know, there were times in the fourth quarter where we were ahead. And obviously at the end of the game, we're not. And so, you know, it's executing at a higher level in those crunch moments. It's, you know, as a play caller, it's, you know, I look at, you know, would I have called anything different? You know, how can I get us in positions to get those stops on those downs? And sometimes it's, you know, the other team made play and we didn't make the play. And so I think that's part of maturing as a unit. I think that's part of gaining experience on like just understanding how hard it is to win a football game, especially at this level. And so it's the attention to detail, and not being afraid of the moment, or not shying away from the moment, and continue to play as aggressive as you have all game, and not playing, and putting yourself in a position where you're trying not to give up a play instead of trying to make a play. I think our guys have shown we're at our best when we're aggressive, and that's not saying we're blitzing all the time, but it is saying when we read something and our key tells us one thing, to go ahead and pull the trigger, trust your preparation, and be confident. And I think our guys have earned the right to be confident because of the way they prepare. And so I think we need to carry over that confidence that you have, throughout the course of the game to those final drives. Like, it's got to be the same level of confidence, and you can't play hesitant or play passive or be afraid of that moment. You got to embrace it and accept the challenge and go make plays. And I think the more we are put in those positions, and get to see and learn from those things, the better off we'll be in the future when those opportunities present themselves.
Would you have changed anything? When you said we look back and said anything, would you have changed anything about what you did the last few weeks in those last possessions? From a call standpoint? No, and I told our guys this, like the last play in the game this past week, I call it 100 times because I think our guys will make that play. I've seen them make that play 100 times. We didn't make it Saturday. So I've got full confidence in our guys to go execute, and I hope we get that opportunity again.
What do you think it says about the defense to play the way that it did, down 2 starters, and to not use that as an excuse?
Because at the end of the day, we got a competitive group that loves football, that loves to play football, and so anytime you're going out and competing, you're not looking for built-in excuses if you're made of the right things, right? And so our guys, I know Tolson and Barnes, they accepted the challenge, and I told them Friday night, like, I couldn't wait to go see them play because I had seen what I saw throughout the week in practice. And so I just think it's a credit to our guys is our guys want to go compete and to go prove that they're winners. And we haven't won yet, not the way that I think we're capable of. We just got to keep our head down, and in Coach B's terms, keep stacking days, and the wins will come. The success will come because they're putting in the work. I think that's one thing about the game of football that's its biggest correlation with life is what you put into it, you're going to get out. I think football is fair that way, and so our guys are putting in the work, and so the fruits of their labor will show sooner than later, I hope.
Ryan, I've heard your players use that term, pull the trigger, before. I'm guessing that comes from you. Like, what's that mean to you? Because it seems like you guys wanted to be more aggressive in the previous week.
It's just, like I said, it's believing what you're seeing and believing what you've shown throughout the week and what film has taught you. And, like, offenses will give you their answer before the snap. It's just whether or not you're willing to listen to it. And sometimes, and I remember doing it as a player, like, you see something and you pause and make sure and confirm before you go. But that hesitation can be the difference between an interception and a PBU or a PBU and a completion, right? And so just giving the guys the confidence and the freedom to go play because of the preparation. Now, if they were just out there pulling the trigger just cause and not being able to say why, then I'd have a problem with it, right? But like I said, our guys, they watch film, they study, they practice, they give you the right answers when you ask them questions. And so, for the majority of the game, they were doing just that. They were pulling the trigger. And so, that confidence has just got to carry over throughout the entirety of the game.
Ryan, this preparation, before you use that a lot, is that something that was innate when you came in, or did you guys have to help guide them to that point?
No, I think it's I think it's twofold. I think one, we've got guys that like football, that are playing the game for the right reasons. But at the same time, I know I loved ball as a player, but I didn't know how to really prepare until my senior year because somebody taught me how to prepare, right? And so I think one of the things that Coach B did that was brilliant when we first got here was just his football one-on-one sessions, and one of those sessions is, okay, this is how you take notes, right? Like I learned something in that session. And then it's, what are you watching? Why are you watching it? So you're not just watching the game like you're, sitting on the couch having a bag of potato chips and a Coke, right? So you gotta learn how to study, and I think the marriage of those two, that their want to and us being able to provide them a blueprint on how to study, how to prepare, has led to improvement. Now that improvement isn't what we want yet, and hopefully it'll never be exactly what we want. You should always be striving to get better every day. But like I said, they prepare the right way, so they should be confident and be able to cut it loose on game days.
Ryan,
Okay,
you
last
talked about,
question.
The guy delivering those hard hits. Sidney had the one targeting call that was overturned, and he comes back and delivers a hard hit. So for him and others, how do you all teach them to be fearless, to be aggressive, also knowing that a targeting call is out there and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're within the confines of the rules, and I mean, you can be aggressive as aggressive as you want to, right? So, the targeting rule has changed the game in terms of players protecting themselves and protecting their opponent with taking your head out of the equation, right? And keeping your eyes up and seeing what you're supposed to hit. And I think there's a misnomer out there that the targeting rule has made the game less physical. But I think Saturday just proved that you can still be physical and play this game and play the style of defense that we're all accustomed to seeing. And one of the reasons why we like the game of football, right, is because of the physicality, because of the sort of the violent nature of it. So you can still play physical, you can still play violent, and within the confines of the rule. You just got to teach, the target area. You teach, how to tackle properly and how to tackle safely, with still being able to impose your physical will on your opponent. Right? That's I hope that every defensive player is wired that way, and City definitely is.
All right.